Yo, what's going on, Blackest fam? It's your boy B. Yo, we're getting into some new music, new to me anyway, right? I always thought, no pun intended, but of Black Thought, right? I've always said, man, I admire this cat's passion, his wordplay. He's very lyrical. He's extremely intelligent, but I don't really know a lot about his catalog, right? I've known of him and of his music, but more so through the roots and then his late night. Persona, right? I thought, man, how could we be students and love the intellectual breakdown if we don't start from one of the greats and really challenge ourselves to break down his music? It is really like playing a trivia game when you're dealing with Black Thought because this isn't someone who's just very lyrical. He's actually extremely intelligent. So his references are just out of this world. And it takes a lot. I love it though because I've always been something. If you don't know something, you Google it right away. I always tell the kids that you Google it right away, and from this point forward, you never have to worry about that information again. You're building your catalog, right? You're expanding your mind, and you're understanding references that you can use later in life. Without further ado, we're gonna get back to this is Black Thought. This is a track called Streets. And what I've been trying to do is when we look at somebody who's very lyrical, sometimes we're identifying some of the best verses in the game, right? Like Andre 3000, I got him queued up as well as Wu-Tang, right? Where there's sometimes specific verses that we're going after. If you're a fan of good music, don't forget to like the video, but don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can support our work as well.
I said, my cranium is vibranium, my brain is uranium and titanium. 45s who aiming and organize the stadium. Tell them, take cover, I warned you not to play with them. Them borderline war crimes, you got away with them. Who came to save the day and brought the K with them?
Man, see, he says so much that it's with Black Thought. He's one of those people that sometimes you end up breaking down bar after bar. But I love this, the way that this is set up because we can let it ride a little bit and then bring it to the top and then start breaking down the lyrics. I think it's really important to understand his references, right? As he says, I said my cranium, right? He's talking about his head, is vibranium. If you guys aren't fans of the Marvel world, you might not know what vibranium is. Vibranium it's a nearly indestructible element that crash landed as a meteorite from space. And supposedly it crashed into this African region, right? There's what's called vibranium, right? But he's also saying, and this is interesting, my brain is uranium and titanium. Titanium, it's known for being extremely strong, but uranium is also known for being extremely toxic. So I like how he defines that and what's inside of his head. It's sick. Listen to what he's saying, 45s, right? Who's aiming them? Right, you got that 4 or 5. Like what is J. Cole? So, yo, my guys got 4 or 5s. I changed for a 20, bro. He said, organize the stadium. Tell them, take cover. I warned you not to play with them, right? He said those borderline war crimes. You got away with them, man. Who came to save the day and brought the K with him? I would imagine he's talking about that AK, right? He said Tariq, right? Tariq Trotter. Tariq, the people's champ from the equal team. Yo, that's not that right. Run it back.
Vibranium, my brain is uranium and titanium. 45s who aiming and organize the stadium. Tell them, take cover, I warned you not to play with them. Them borderline war crimes, you got away with them. Who came to save the day and brought the K with them? Tariq, the people's champ from the equal team. Trying to keep it clean, long as all my people solid dean. I've been in the music scene, long as Alan leads, making salaries. Still accumulating calories, demonstrating how to breathe. Cynically, Genovese, I've been the reason to freeze. Read G's in the league, on my own, getting cheese.
Yo, listen to what he's saying, right? He said Tariq, right? His name, Tariq, the people's champs. He said, trying to keep it clean. He said, as long as all my people solid dean, right? Now, you might be asking yourself, like, what exactly is a dean, right? Normally most people refer to it as religion, right? I'm sure one would argue that Islam is not a religion only, but it's a deen. I don't know what the word would be, but you would say it's more of a lifestyle, right? Like people say that a diet is not Uh, it's not a fad; it's a way of life. If you want to maintain, they're saying like Islam. Some people would argue, Islam is it a religion or a deen? A deen is like a code of ethics, right? It's a way that you live your life that covers all aspects of life, right? So you're talking about it's individual, but it's collective as well. And that's just sick if he's referencing that. With Black Thought, you never say, is he getting that deep? With Black Thought, the answer is normally yes. I like what he says here too, right? He references Alan Leeds. I don't think a lot of people would understand that reference. He said, I've been in the music scene long as Alan Leeds. Alan Leeds, this cat was born in the 1940s, and he's done everything from being a music executive, tour manager, production manager, writer. I mean, this guy has worked with some of the best, from Chris Rock, D'Angelo, but I would imagine that most people probably get the reference as him working with James Brown. So I would imagine, but that's who Alan Leeds is. Now, if I'm getting that properly, he said make the salaries still accumulating calories. Ooh, sick. It's accumulating calories. Demonstrating how to breathe. Senegalese, those are the people from Senegal, right? Actually, just random knowledge, when I did my ancestry test, that's specific to the place in Africa that my people come from. It's from Senegal, which is kind of cool. And look what he's saying. He's saying Senegalese and Genovese, right? Genovese is normally known as the Genovese crime family. If he's saying like, yo, this is how to move, right? This is how to live. You got to have a little bit of culture mixed with a little bit of hood. At least that's the way that I'm interpreting it. He said, I've been a reason to freeze. Reek G's in the league. Reek, that's a little different. I want to run it back and make sure the lyrics got it right. But when you talk about reek, you're talking about a stench, right? If something reeks, it's normally smelly, right?
Reek G's in the league on my own getting cheese.
It could be, reek, reason to freeze. Okay, I've been a reason to freeze Reek G's in the league because he's killing them, right? He's bodying them, maybe. He said, I'm on my own getting cheese, getting money. He said, I will hurt Hercules. I will murk most MCs. It's funny, I thought murk might have been specific to Chicago because I just didn't hear it in common sense of, back in Chicago, man, I'd be like, man, I'll murk dude's ass, right? That just means you're going to take him out the game, right? You're going to off him. I just didn't hear that anywhere else besides Chicago. Good to hear that again.
I've been a reason to freeze. Reek G's in the league on my own getting cheese. I will hurt Hercules. I will murk most of the scenes. I'm the last one to show up. The first one to leave the crime scene. The obscene salam thing. The ridiculous rhyme scheme. I'm stick to the grind gene. The hell with the hygiene. It's a dirty bomb. Word 730 time.
Ooh, this cat is just so sick with it, man. That's just how he goes from some time about I will hurt Hercules, right? You think of Hercules, it's like, what is he, half man, half God, but he's known for incredible strength. He's like, man, I'll hurt him. The dude's nothing stepping to me. In fact, I'll murk most MCs. Like what they say, when you're a student, when you're trying to be the best at your craft, they say that you're the first one to show up and the last one to leave. But he does that play on words, right? He said, I'm the last one to show up, the first one to leave. The crime scene, right? The obscene. Yo, just sick with
the obscene salam thing, the ridiculous rhyme scheme, the stick to the grind gene, the hell with the hygiene, it's a dirty bomb, word is 730 time, disaster level 911 meets 11-9, catastrophe.
Yo, man, he's just saying so much. The obscene salam theme, the ridiculous rhyme scheme, right? His rhyme scheme is just complex. He said the stick to the grind scene, right? The hell with the hygiene keeping yourself clean, but it's not because it's a dirty bomb, right? Word to 730 time. Disaster level 911 meets the 11-9. Ooh! Bro, let me make sure I'm getting that properly. This is so ugly with it, bro, and this dude's so knowledgeable. Check out this reference. He said, stick to the grind gene, right? The hell with the hygiene. And he ties hygiene with dirty bomb, right? And keeping your hands clean, but it's a dirty bomb. He says word to 730 time. I don't know if a lot of cats would catch that reference. That's a reference to Big L, right? If you 730, it means you crazy, right? That's what he says. So he says, where were we? He said word to 730 time, right? It means you crazy. But he says disaster level 9/11, right? The World Trade Center bombings. He said disaster either level 9/11 meets the 11/9. You might be asking yourself, well, what is 11/9? Well, that's a reference to November 9th, 2016. That's the day that President Trump, or former President Trump, basically accepted his nomination, right? He was president-elect at that point. That's not accepted his nomination, but that's when he became president. So he's talking about the same. Either way, it's a disaster. It could be 9/11 or it could be 11/9, right? He said catastrophe beyond incredible. I redefined the seventh sign. Like, oh, this dude is just sick. And you might be asking, what is the seventh sign, right? The seventh sign, I believe what he's referring to is the seventh sign of the apocalypse, right? The book of Revelations, the second coming of Jesus Christ, and Jesus Christ coming back to rule the world. There's a big play on words there. You can interpret that differently. But when he's saying, I redefined the seventh sign, he's talking about that, right? Could he mean an antichrist, right, in Donald Trump? But he's like, faster, scarier, mass hysteria from Damascus, Syria. Damascus, he references in his last song that we covered. But Damascus is one of the, I believe it's the capital, but it's also one of the oldest civilizations, right, or areas in the world. Let's let this ride a little bit.
3730 times, disaster level 9/11 meets 11/9. Catastrophe beyond incredible, I redefine the seven.
It's like, bro, you've already killed him, bro. You just stomping on his head right now. Like, could you imagine stepping up to somebody who raps at this level? Like, this is different. Like, Eminem might kill you with the wordplay and the wittiness, but this dude reminds me of, hey, don't raise your voice, improve your argument. Could you imagine arguing with Black Thought and he's just referencing all types of points in humanity? This cat is just so knowledgeable.
The obscene salam theme, the ridiculous rhyme scheme, the stick to the grind gene, the hell with the hygiene, it's a dirty bomb.
The gene, right? Not like your physical, your blue genes, but the genes in you, right? The stick to the grind, the gene, but with the wordplay with hygiene. Ooh.
Word is 730 times, disaster level 9/11 meets 11/9. Catastrophe beyond incredible, I redefine the seventh sign. Fast hysteria, mass hysteria from Damascus, Syria to Middle America school, cafeterias and cul-de-sacs. I told you that, the boss is back. You know what I'm saying?
It's cold outside, sun is
Does anybody know where that sample's from? Like, I don't think I've ever heard this. Oh, I definitely have never heard this, but I don't know that I've ever heard that sample either. Let's let it ride a bit and then we'll go to and start breaking it down. We'll run it back just a few seconds here.
Mass hysteria from Damascus, Syria to Middle America school, cafeterias and cul-de-sacs. I told you that, the boss is back. You know what I'm saying?
It's cold outside, sun is gunshots all the time.
Omerta code meets the Hippocratic oath.
That's just the Omerta code. That's normally referred to as the code of silence, right? When you think of working on the streets or like the mafia, there's a code of silence, right? Or you might know it as snitches get stitches, right? Just don't say shit, it won't be shit, right? Someone asks you what happened, you don't know shit because it's none of your motherfucking business, right? That's the Omerta code. But he's saying amidst the Hippocratic oath. The Hippocratic oath, it's an oath of ethics, right? It's historically taken by physicians. They have to swear to uphold specific ethical standards. That's just sick with it, man. I don't think a lot of people would get that reference there.
Serving this whole surface from a diplomatic post. My word, this whole purpose, a cinematic scope. The earth and this whole surface, I consider that its toast. Savers, Sammy Davis, Belafonte, Quincy Jones, Mahatma Gandhi, James Baldwin, Jesse Owens. Running from a cop car, me and Akbar.
There's different ways that I don't know how you would translate that. Like he references consider that as toast. He says the cinematic scope, right? We're working in movies. Yeah, Sammy Davis, Harry Belafonte, Quincy Jones. But then he starts talking about Gandhi and James Baldwin. These are people that were woke, right? Before that was a term. People that were talking about not just civil rights, but like black nationalism, black freedom, black history that are important to the fight. It's really interesting where he says, running from a cop car, me and Akbar. I don't know if he's referring to someone specifically, but I think of Muhammad Akbar, known as Akbar the Great, right? I don't know if that's his reference, or if he's talking about something else or someone specifically.
I changed from a rock boy to a rock star. Hijacked the elevator to the top floor. I'm taking everything that's left like a southpaw. Crash and burn, alert through osmosis. And watch the word spread like tuberculosis.
Whoa. We can't just let that ride. Did y'all catch that, right? What did he say? He says southpaw. I'm taking everything that's left, right? I'm taking everything that's left in the game, but it's also taking everything that's left like a southpaw. Southpaw, it's referred to, that's a left-handed pitcher, right? They've been calling it that since the 19th century. But taking everything that's left, bro, that's a sick-ass reference.
Crash and burn, alert through osmosis. And watch the word spread like tuberculosis. I took a snapshot, but it hurt to post it. I had a black thought, they called it wokeness. Overdoses, water bugs and roaches. 40 cows and hostess, all halal and kosher. 20,000 jokers, one ain't playing. I'm Carl Brown, man-child in the promised land.
Run that back just.
And watch the word spread like tuberculosis. This whole circus from a diplomatic post. A word, this whole purpose, a cinematic scope. The earth and its whole surface, I consider that its toast. Savers, Sammy Davis, Belafonte, Quincy Jones, Mahatma Gandhi, James Baldwin, Jesse Owens. Running from a cop car, me and Akbar. I changed from a rock boy to a rock star. Hijacked the elevator to the top floor. I'm taking everything that's left like a southpaw. Crash and burn, alert through osmosis.
I changed from a rock boy to a rock star, right? I'm not selling rocks anymore. I'm a rock star. I hijacked the elevator to the top floor, right? To the penthouse. Yo, all right now.
And watch the word spread like tuberculosis.
He said crash and burn and learn through osmosis, right? It's, I don't know, osmosis is something, it's the movement of molecules, right? It's if you're looking for the technical, it's the movement of molecules, but it's normally known from going from a high concentration to a lower concentration, and it's being filtered, if you would, right? Crash and burn and learn through osmosis. The word spread like tuberculosis. Just think. I took a snapshot, but it hurt to post it. I had a black thought, and they called it wokeness. And then it's like, people are like, oh, woke isn't the word anymore. It's like, you can't keep up with this shit.
I took a snapshot, but it hurt to post it. I had a black thought, they called it wokeness. Overdoses, water bugs and roaches. 40 cows and hostess, all halal and kosher. 20,000 jokers, one ain't playing. I'm Carl Brown, man-child in the promised land.
Don't let it ride, though. Yo, that's just sick, man. This cat is just different. Even at the end, he references Claude Brown, right, who actually wrote the Man-Child in the Promised Land. It's a book. Man, I think that cat actually recently passed away a few years ago, within the last 2 decades or so, after 2000. But this cat is just sick at a different level, right? He's not just lyrical. This is someone that's just extremely intelligent. And I don't know if he's like, they say Eminem writes his raps with a dictionary. If that's true, then Black Thought writes his rhymes with an encyclopedia and a thesaurus, right? Lyrical to the next level. But if you're a fan of the intellectual breakdown and just really just getting surgical with it and dissecting the double plays, the triple plays, the word play, and just breaking it down, man, we go after the toughest artists, right? Wu-Tang, Black Thought, Ciroc, Toby Wigway. We're going to do Royce da 5'9", Eminem, Nas, Big L, right? Classics, man. So, if you're a fan, don't forget to like the video, but subscribe to the channel as we start getting busy and breaking down different catalogs.